Ever since the Key 83 video, I thought that I was done with glass. It was exactly what I wanted, the sleek compatibility, hardness, uniformity, and consistency of glass, but with some of the benefits of cloth, like improved stability and stopping power. I thought that if the polarity and upcoming balance glass pad wasn't my endgame, then I'm probably done with glass. The Beast was a bit too fast, the Singularity is not as well rounded as the Key, and the other popular glass pads were too smooth for me. I just didn't see a reason to go back when the Key 83 was the best of both worlds. It was the most glass-like cloth pad. But then, Tekkusai announced the Phantom, claiming that it's even faster than the Beast, but had a feature previously known only to cloth pads, the ability to increase the friction by pushing into it. The most cloth-like glass pad. I've had this pad for 4 days now, and while that isn't enough time to fully develop my thoughts on it, I do feel pretty confident in talking about its physical characteristics and the potential it has, and I wanted to get out some thoughts before the pre-order window opens. But first, is that stopping power benefit really true? It is, but there are a few catches that we'll come back to. Let's talk about the speed first. So, the fastest commercially available glass pad is the Beast, and the Phantom is actually faster. The first time that I wrote this section, I thought that it was too close to call, but after trying a few different skates on both side by side, the Phantom is actually just more skate sensitive than the Beast. And the faster skates on it make it noticeably quicker than the Beast, which is insane to be able to say about a pad that I made a whole video talking about how it's the fastest in the world. And when you push down, the speed does actually decrease. It slows down to feel something like a slightly worn Zero Soft, which is also an insane thing to be able to say. Going back to my other glass pads, the difference is pretty crazy. Everything, as you'd expect, has that consistent friction across varying amounts of pressure. Except for the Beast. This one did exhibit a similar property. And it turns out that this isn't a coincidence. The Beast was known for having a chaotic, irregular texture, and back when I used it, I noted how the feedback from that texture played a role in making me feel like stopping and being more aware of my mouse movements was easier. But the irregular microtexture had a side effect that I didn't realize was helping me too, where pushing into the pad allows the malleable material of your skates to press into the peaks and valleys of that texture and create a feeling of resistance. So Tekkusai noticed this effect from the Beast, and that's why he made the Phantom. Take that characteristic and kick it up a notch. When I first got into glass pads, the speed not changing under pressure was something that I really liked because it made me more aware of overtension and allowed me to still glide easily while tense. But the beauty of leaning into variable friction and making it a core feature is how it lets you control the friction your mouse experiences, something that I find way more valuable than perfectly consistent friction now. The amount of resistance you experience is a gradient. It's proportional to the amount of downwards pressure you apply on the mouse. For control tracking, you can apply a little pressure and have a slightly less slippery surface. And for big flicks, you can push down hard and stop way more easily. Compared to the Beast, the gradient is much wider. You start experiencing it with less pressure, and you get more stopping out of it when fully pushing down. It is still a pretty different experience to cloth, though. You have to put in quite a bit more pressure than cloth pads to get a really significant amount of stopping power, and the lack of give, even compared to mid-hardness pads, makes it feel unintuitive to lean into. And fully pressing down on the pad can make the irregular texture more evident, where you sometimes feel moments of increasing and decreasing resistance, and generally it's much more muddy than it is controlled. But to be fair, I don't think you'd ever want to just fully press down on the mouse and try to track something anyway. This level of sluggishness under pressure is not a bad thing if you're purely using it for stopping. I think this characteristic is something that you could base your style around and potentially get the best of both worlds. The effortless glide of glass and the control of friction of cloth. Its true potential remains to be seen though. Pushing into the pad to generate stopping power is worse for tension management than utilizing the innate friction of the surface, and you need a lot of control over that tension to really get the most out of it. Again, keep in mind that I've only had this thing for 4 days. I still need to practice more with this feature to get a full grasp on it. The other unique thing about this pad is this, tapered edges. I've never really been one to care about edgeless designs on cloth pads, but on a glass pad, this was a surprisingly welcome feature. It's much harder to detect the edge of the pad in your arm when moving vertically now, and it kind of makes the pad feel bigger because of that more seamless experience. I kind of expect that we'll see brands starting to copy this feature soon. This is the first time it's appeared on a commercially available glass pad, and it's just a straight upgrade in my eyes. The perceptible texture is another thing I've been asked a lot about. Does it have that benefit of the Beast where you can really feel the texture on your skates? It does, and I think it's a touch more textured too. It's not night and day like the Beast compared to Glassworks pads, but it does at least maintain that characteristic and accentuate it slightly. The feel on your skin is also pretty unique among glass pads. While most of them feel like a glass table, this one feels more soft. It feels pretty similar to the texture of my desk, where it is still a hard surface, but maybe due to the texture, it feels less harsh. I don't know how to explain it, honestly. It's not crazy different, but it is a little bit different, and I find it comfortable. Let's talk skates. This thing is very skate sensitive. Some skates ended up being way slower on this pad than most, others were uncharacteristically scratchy, and my favorite was one that I don't even usually like for glass. I posted a spreadsheet in the description for my thoughts on all these skates on this pad, but my favorites are the Ultraglide Silences. These are stupidly fast and have a foam layer which I think helps with pushing into the pad. This pad also comes with Ghost Glide Cyclone Pros, which I don't have. But those skates do have a foam layer as well, which should have a similar effect. I would imagine that they're similar to the Obsidian Airs, which were also in the top 5 for me, along with Jades and Jade Airs. But if I had to recommend only one skate to use on this pad, it would probably be the Jade Airs. You get a lot more of the texture, and the speed isn't quite as ridiculous, but it's still very smooth. This pad does seem to chew through skates pretty fast though, which I guess would be another point in the Silence's favor, because you can buy those in pretty large bulk off of AliExpress. And to cap things off, a quick rundown of the details. It's 500 by 450, it's just as thin as the Beast at 2.5mm, the base is rubber, but I cannot move it for the life of me, it's $119, and the skin stick is like the Beast. I can't use it without a sleeve, but it's still better than the majority of the market, and Viscos can use it without a sleeve easily. The Phantom was designed to be a successor of the Beast, and honestly, I think he's done that title justice. My initial thoughts on this thing were a lot more mixed, but the more I use it, and the more I use it side by side with other top glass pads, the more impressed I get with the Phantom. So while we still have to see how much potential the variable friction has, I think he's achieved what he set out to do really well. I can't say much against this thing, aside from the skate sensitivity. But keep in mind that this thing is still the fastest pad in the world. I feel like it's quite hard to use effectively, or if you're experiencing nerves or just not playing on point, or you don't have 1,000 hours in Kovacs, it will be difficult to keep your tension under control. But I think it's good at what it tries to do, and that's why I'm talking about it so highly. As for whether it'll come back to glass now, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to use it for a month or so and see how it goes. This pad really blindsided me. I honestly thought I had tried everything glass had to offer, but this pad has me itching to play more and practice with it. It's really unique. I don't know how tekkusai keeps doing this. Thanks for watching.